Hey guys! Tonight we drift gently into the shadows of Edo, Japan. But not the one with cherry blossoms and geisha smiles. This is the version where roofs leak in silence. Your rice bowl is a lie. And your 5-year-old asks if hot water counts as dinner. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And what time it is for you. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You wake to a brittle creak overhead. For a moment, you're not sure if it's wind or part of the roof giving up. It's still dark, not night, not morning. Just that gray, blurry in-between where dreams fade and reality returns. You roll onto your side, careful not to crush the tiny shape curled next to you. Your daughter stirs in her sleep, mumbling something about sweet potatoes. It makes your chest tighten, because you haven't had a real sweet potato in weeks. You sit up slowly. The room smells of damp wood, smoke, and old futon straw. A low ceiling forces you to hunch as you move, not from age, but from design. This was never built to be comfortable, just cheap. Your wife is already kneeling by the hearth, gently blowing on yesterday's dying coals. There's no flame yet, just her breath. And hope. The fire isn't cooperating. Neither is your stomach. Outside, you hear the soft clang of wooden clogs over puddles. The tofu vendor is early today. So is the coughing, that hacking, wheezing sound from the room next door. It started 3 nights ago. Now it's louder, wetter. You pretend not to hear it. You reach for your work clothes, folded neatly, still damp from yesterday. They smell like the fish market. Salt, smoke, and something unplaceable. The kind of scent that never quite washes out. As you slip them on, you wonder if the landlord will show up again today. Last week, he said rent was due early. You bowed, apologized. He didn't smile. Suddenly, a sharp crack echoes from the street. A cartwheel? A falling beam? Your heart jumps. Not because you're afraid, but because if it's the rice delivery wagon, there might still be broken grains scattered in the road. You used to scold your children for eating off the street. Now, you just make sure they chew slowly. The coals catch. A small hiss. A flicker of red. It's enough to heat water, though you're not sure there's anything left to boil in it. Your wife doesn't ask. She just moves like she always does. Quiet, efficient, and a little smaller than she was last year. The sky outside turns the color of old paper. You glance back at your daughter, her tiny hand curled under her cheek. Then you step into the morning. The alley smells like yesterday. A mixture of wet earth, charcoal smoke, and old miso. You already know the routine. Walk fast. Head low. Your job won't wait. And in Edo, being late means no pay. And you're already late. The sky is still pale, and your feet slap against the stone path, sending echoes down the narrow lane. You pass the same broken lantern post, the one that always leans just a little more each week. It reminds you of your posture lately. There's a line forming at the bathhouse. Not for bathing, no one can afford that before work. Just for warm water. Men stand in silence, holding metal canisters. Their faces blank except for one man rubbing his wrists like they're still sore from yesterday. You bow slightly as you pass. No one responds. There's not much energy for small talk this early. Turning left at the corner, you nearly trip over a stack of crates. Fish delivery. The smell hits you like a slap, raw, wet, and metallic. It clings to everything, including you. A boy, maybe 10, is crouched near the crates with a dull knife, scraping scales from a carp like it owes him money. He looks up for half a second, just long enough to show he doesn't expect help, then goes back to work. You've made it to the market row. Vendors are setting up under canvas sheets and wooden beams, all patched with rope and prayer. One woman tosses wilted greens into a basket, her toddler tied to her back with cloth that's seen better years. She sees you, smiles faintly. Not out of joy, just habit. You return the gesture. A clang behind you. Someone's dropped a basket of yams. 3 of them roll into the gutter. And a man scrambles after them like they're gold coins. You understand. They might be the only carbs he touches this week. You pause at a stall. Not to buy, just to pretend you might. The vendor is chopping dried squid. Your stomach twists at the smell. It used to make you hungry. Now it just reminds you of that. You nod politely. And keep moving before he offers you a sample. You don't want to decline. You don't want to owe anyone. By the time you reach the fish market, your toes are numb from cold. Your breath fogs in front of you. Just like the steam rising from the barrels of salted mackerel. The foreman doesn't look up. He rarely does. You take your place by the stack of crates. Knees bent, back braced. And begin lifting. Each crate is heavier than the last. Not because they are, but because your spine says so. You try not to groan. Someone next to you does though. An older man with a crooked shoulder. He catches your eye, nods once. Then turns back to work. That's the extent of camaraderie here. No jokes. No stories. Just shared effort and shared silence. Except for the fishmongers yelling out prices. That part never stops. You swear they were born yelling. A woman barges through the crowd, clutching a coin purse like it might dissolve. She's shouting something about fresh octopus. You blink and wonder what it's like to care that much about dinner. Your hands sting. Splinters from the crates and salt from the fish make a painful combination. But you keep moving. Hours pass, though the sky barely changes. The clouds hang low, like they, too, are too tired to move. You get a short break near noon. A handful of rice and pickled radish. You eat it squatting behind a cart, shielding your food from wind and jealous eyes. Someone nearby coughs hard, wet and deep. It echoes louder than the vendor bells. You finish eating without looking up. The foreman calls you back. And just like that, you're lifting again. Pulling, sweating, trying not to count the hours, trying not to think that you still have to walk it all back home again. At the end of the day, the sun hangs overhead like a pale coin, but you barely notice it. Too much to do, too little time, and too many eyes waiting for you to slow down. As you shift another crate, your knee twinges. Not enough to stop you, just enough to remind you that you're no longer 20. You glance around. The younger boys work fast, reckless. They lift with their backs, not their knees. Give it 5 years. They'll learn. Your mouth is dry. You should have drunk more at lunch. But water's not always clean, and your stomach can't afford surprises. Suddenly, a commotion near the gate. You crane your neck. See 2 men arguing. One is a merchant with fine robes. The other a fisherman with a bleeding hand. The merchant is shouting about a shorted delivery. The fisherman just wants someone to stop the bleeding. No one moves. The foreman eventually steps in, but only to tell them both to leave. It's over in a minute, but it lingers. That feeling that everything here is replaceable. Even you. You keep working. Quiet. Efficient. But a few minutes later, a cart overturns nearby. Fish spill onto the dirt. People rush in, grabbing what they can before the owner can stop them. This chaos. Short-lived, but desperate. You don't move. Just watch. And wonder how long before that's you. By mid-afternoon, your hands are raw. You pull a splinter from your thumb, watch a bead of blood form, and wipe it on your sleeve. The foreman blows a whistle. Your shift is done, but the walk home still looms. As you leave the market, you pass a shrine tucked between 2 shops. Tiny. Faded. You pause. There's no one else around. Just you, and a little wooden fox statue barely standing on its pedestal. You press your palms together. No words, just a thought, a whisper of a hope. That your kids won't get sick. That the rice stretches another day. You open your eyes and move on. The streets are busier now. Mothers hauling toddlers. Old men arguing about prices. And vendors calling out in sing-song voices. A group of samurai pass by. Silent, sharp-eyed, untouchable. You lower your gaze? As does everyone else. Their world isn't yours. Yours is narrower. More fragile. You cross a footbridge where the river stinks of fish guts and soap. A child is tossing stones into the water. One of them lands with a plunk beside a floating sandal. The boy laughs. You don't. You're thinking of your daughter's only pair of shoes. Too small now, but she won't complain. Just curls her toes. You turn a corner and spot your landlord. Your chest tightens. He doesn't see you. Keeps walking. You exhale slowly, like you've just dodged a blade. By the time you reach your alley, your legs are jelly. Your hands are stiff. And the light is turning orange. Not from sunset, but from lanterns being lit. You pause outside your home. The smell of wood smoke. Rice water boiling. The faint sound of your son coughing. You slide the door open quietly. Inside, your wife looks up and nods. Not quite a smile, but close enough. Your daughter runs to you. Bare feet. Big eyes. She hands you a drawing. It's a house. A big one. With a roof that doesn't leak. You kneel down. Ruffle her hair. And say it's beautiful. Even if you can't quite imagine it. Dinner is quiet. Not because there's tension now, but because silence has become a habit. There's no table, no chairs. Just a worn straw mat and a chipped wooden bowl passed between hands. Tonight it's rice gruel. Thinner than usual, but hot. And that counts for something. You blow gently, watching the steam curl upward like the faint hope that tomorrow will be better. Your son gulps his share quickly. Your wife slower. She always eats last. You slide your portion toward her. She hesitates and then accepts with only her eyes to say thank you. Your daughter breaks the silence. Will we have pickles tomorrow? You pause. Smile. Maybe, you say, though you both know, pickles cost extra. She nods as if she believes you, and maybe she does. Children in Edo learn early how to dream on empty stomachs. After the bowls are rinsed in cold water and set aside, you step outside. The alley is damp, lined with puddles that reflect paper lanterns swinging in the night breeze. Somewhere a shamisen plays faintly. The neighbor's baby cries, then stops, then starts again. You light a small oil lamp and sit on the wooden stoop. Creaks under your weight. You let your thoughts wander, to bills, to debts, to that itch in your lungs that won't go away. You think about work, and whether the fish market will stay open through the end of the season. Rumors say otherwise. Suddenly, a shout echoes from the far end of the alley. Then another. Then a crash. You tense, rising to your feet. But it's just a scuffle. Two drunk men arguing over spilled sake. One of them vomits against a wall. You sit back down. This is Edo after all. You've seen worse. Back inside, your wife is tucking in the children. You help lay out the futons. Not that it matters. Your body will ache either way. The walls creak. From the next room, that same wet cough. Persistent. Sharp. You both hear it, but say nothing. Instead, you lie back, staring at the ceiling, watching the shadows flicker with the lamplight. There's a hole near the roof. Small, but enough for wind to whisper through. You close your eyes, but before sleep can take you, your wife speaks. Rent's due tomorrow. You nod. You knew. But hearing it out loud makes your stomach turn. She doesn't ask where you'll get the money. She just says good night. And that's love in this part of town. Quiet, steady, and full of things never spoken. As the alley settles into its nightly rhythm of coughing neighbors, creaking beams, and murmured lullabies, you finally drift off, not to dreams, just to stillness. The kind that comes from sheer exhaustion, and the knowledge that morning always arrives too soon. You hear him before you see him. A nasal voice, clipped, impatient, echoes along the soaked alley. The landlord. You freeze mid-step. the bowl in your hand still warm from a watery breakfast. Your wife, inside, pulls the children close. No one says a word. He stops just outside. The wood floor creaks. You can almost hear his sandals dripping. Then, he moves on. No knock this time. But that doesn't mean he's forgotten. He never forgets. You exhale quietly, but the tightness in your chest stays. You step outside with the empty bowl, your shoulders low. The street greets you with gray puddles and the scent of spoiled vegetables. You're not walking to a job. You're walking to hope one appears. The sky is blank. A lid pressed down on the city. You pass the fish market. The stall is packed with other men. Hands calloused, eyes tired. One of them shouts. Another shoves. You don't bother pushing forward. The fishmonger glances up, then down again. No work today. You move on, shoes squelching in the mud. The tofu vendor is scraping his barrels. Only sour dregs left. You bow. He doesn't bow back. You've bowed more this month than you've eaten hot meals. A cart passes, its wheel strikes a pothole. A small sack tumbles out. Barley. The bag bursts slightly, scattering rough grains on the wet earth. You hesitate. So do 3 others. Across the alley, a mother cradles a baby, eyes locked on the same spill. No one moves. You swallow hard, then walk away. Even desperation sometimes is crowded. Further down, you stop near a stand selling greens. What's left is yellowed, limp, half-rotten. Your fingers twitch. It would be easy, so easy to take one. Just one. Then you see the vendor's child watching you. Skinny, silent. He's no older than your son. You pull your hand back, embarrassed at yourself, or ashamed that you even paused. You keep walking. By the time you return home, your sleeves are soaked. Your bowl is still empty, and your chest feels heavier. Inside, your son lies curled up. He's sweating now. The cough is worse. You kneel beside him. His breathing is shallow, uneven. There's no medicine. No coin to buy it. No clinic that would even let you in. Your daughter whimpers in her sleep. Half dreaming, maybe hungry. Your wife stares at the coals. They've gone out again. She doesn't move. Just sits. Still. And smaller than she looked yesterday. You try to speak, but what would you say? That tomorrow might be better? You've said that too many times already. Outside, children splash through the alley. Barefoot. Shouting with joy over a broken wooden toy. You want to smile, but can't. The landlord's voice drifts down the corridor again. He's laughing now. Probably winning at dice in some neighbor's room. You wonder what it's like to have enough rice to gamble with. The wind picks up. You shiver. There's nothing left to do but sit and wait. For what, you're not sure anymore. The bowl is still in your hand. You place it gently on the floor. It makes no sound. The night arrives early in Edo. Not with fanfare, but like a slow spill of ink across the sky. You don't need a clock to know it's late. The cold has crept back in through the walls, and the shadows are heavy, thick enough to feel. Dinner was a ladle of broth. Mostly water. Not much else to say about it. You pretended to be full, so your daughter could have the last sip. She looked at you with suspicion, like she already knew you were lying. She's only 5. But in Edo, childhood runs on borrowed time. Your son's fever hasn't broken. He sweats, then shivers. His small body twitching under the threadbare blanket. You tried singing to him earlier, but your voice cracked halfway through. He didn't seem to notice. Or maybe he just didn't want you to stop. Your wife hasn't spoken in an hour. She sits by the coals again, rocking slightly. Her fingers wrapped around an empty bowl. You've both stopped asking if there's more. Outside, the coughing continues. From one house, then another. Like a chorus of quiet ruin. The Nagaya whispers its sickness. Room to room. And no one comes. No officials. No healers. No one who can do anything but listen. From the alley, you hear footsteps slosh through the wet. A child whimpering. A man swearing under his breath. And then, faintly, The clink of coins. Someone has money. They'll eat tonight. Not you. You lie down slowly, careful not to disturb your children. The straw mat underneath feels damp. Like it's been sweating too. You stare at the ceiling. There are cracks there. Hairline fractures in the wood. Like a map of all the places your life might have gone instead. You think about leaving. Every man here thinks about leaving. But where would you go? You'd heard rumors last week. A man from the next street tried to sail south for work. The ocean swallowed his boat before he cleared the bay. That's Edo for you. 2 per to stay. 2 trapped to leave. You close your eyes. For a moment, your body forgets the hunger. Just for a breath. Then a shriek pierces the night. A baby somewhere down the row. Then silence. No one gets up. They're used to it. You are too. This city teaches you quickly. Some things scream because they still have the strength to. Others just fade. You roll onto your side, facing your wife. She's asleep now, but her brow is still furrowed. Even dreams don't offer rest here. You shift closer, not for warmth, but so she doesn't feel alone. That's all you have left to offer. Outside, the wind pushes harder against the wooden walls. The house groans. You wonder how many more nights it can take, and how many more mornings you can. The new day doesn't feel new. It drags itself out of the night like a wounded animal, limping into the gray morning with no promise, no pause. The sky has no color, just that flat, damp hue. That makes you wonder if the sun forgot to rise. You're already dressed. You never really undressed. Your clothes are the same from yesterday, wrinkled, stained, still clinging to the smell of burnt rice and cold smoke. Your wife hands you a small bundle of something wrapped in cloth. It's warm. You hope it's rice. You don't ask. You just nod. Behind you, your son still wheezes in his sleep. Your daughter rubs her eyes, trying not to cry. Children learn fast here. Even their tears know when to hide. You step into the alley. The cold hits your teeth first. It always does. Your neighbor is pouring dirty water into the gutter. He doesn't speak. Just meets your eyes for a second, and goes back to scrubbing a wooden bucket like it owes him money. At the end of the lane, a woman wails. Something about her child's fever. Or maybe the midwife didn't come again. You keep walking. The streets are slick from last night's rain. Not puddles, just grime that shines. A man ahead of you stumbles, drops a basket of tofu, and just stares at it for a moment, like picking it up wouldn't make any difference. You pass him. Your job today is across town. That means 2 hours on foot. Your sandals are already soaked through, and you haven't taken the first step yet. The crowd thickens near the bridge. Vendors setting up. A boy coughs into a bucket. The sound is sharp, wet, unforgettable. You glance away just in time to see a rat dart between crates. It's bold. Too bold. The kind of bold that comes from knowing. No one has the energy to chase it. You finally reach the dockyards. The foreman is already shouting. His voice cuts through the cold like a blade. You drop your bundle near a stack of crates. And then, a crack. One of the men falls. The plank he was standing on split clean down the middle. No scream, just a thud, and silence. They drag him aside. Another man takes his place. No one speaks his name. This is how Edo moves. With or without you. By noon, your back is screaming. Your hands have gone numb from rope burns. You don't stop. Not even when your vision blurs. Not even when the blood from your thumb soaks into the rice bundle cloth. You'll eat around it. Because you will eat. Maybe. Your legs feel like wood as you walk. Not from strength, but from numbness. The alleys you pass are quieter than usual, no children playing, no gossiping neighbors. Just the occasional creak of a door or the rustle of someone too tired to speak. You make your way toward the river. Not for work, but because, for a moment, it feels like the only place in the city that isn't closing in. The riverbank is muddy, scattered with broken sandals and discarded rope. A few men stand quietly, staring at the water, not fishing, just watching. You recognize one of them. He used to sell charcoal 2 streets over. Then he vanished for a while. Now he's back, thinner, quieter, older somehow. He doesn't look at you. You don't say anything either. That's how it goes. The current is slow today. Even the river seems exhausted. You sit on a rock near the edge. A breeze picks up, cool but not refreshing. Just another reminder that winter is never far. You think about the old merchant who lives by the shrine. He says Edo is a city of layers, one on top of another, like roof tiles. And if you live long enough, you get buried under everyone. You used to think he was crazy. Now you're not so sure. Behind you, the city groans. Wood on wood, voice on voice, day on day. You run a hand over your face, and it feels like tracing the map of your own exhaustion. In the distance, you hear your name. A child's voice. Sharp, urgent. You turn. It's your daughter, running barefoot, laughing. She found something. A rice ball someone dropped. Mostly intact. She's proud. Beaming. You should tell her to throw it away. You should worry about germs or shame. But instead, you kneel. You take the rice ball gently and you split it in 2. 1/2 for her. 1/2 for your son. You don't eat. Your stomach grumbles anyway. Not from hunger, but from habit. You stand, take her hand, and start walking home. Because that's what you do in Edo, you keep walking. Even when you're not sure where the road ends. The city fades now. Not the noise. Not the struggle, but your need to fight it. Your eyes grow heavy. The cold is still there. But so is the sound of your daughter breathing. Soft and steady beside you. You've made it through another day. And in a place like Edo, sometimes that's the only kind of victory there is. Outside, the wind rustles through thin paper walls. You let it pass. You let everything pass. There's nothing left to chase tonight. No more crates to carry. No more landlords to beg. No more meals to stretch. Just this quiet. Just this breath. Just this moment. You close your eyes and imagine a world where the roof doesn't leak. Where rice isn't a treasure. Where childhood isn't borrowed. But for now, you have sleep. And sleep is enough. So rest. Traveler. The road begins again tomorrow.